The V2.0 we don't make. It was just a slightly different spectrum. We really didn't like it as much, so we went with the 2.1, which is a few slight changes. The 2.1 comes in two models, single chip and dual chip. That's the only difference between the 2.1 and the 2.1B. The B means it's dual chip.
And also, this one has purple, and was
the dual chip changes it just a little bit.
So it's just a different mixture.
Yeah, the total output of the light is still the same.
What are the optics?
These are 90-degree convex. Each one of the fans is on one of the channels.
Okay.
So you turn on one channel, it's not going to run very hot. One fan, two channels, two fans, three, and three.
Now, does it turn on with the difference in the temperature, or it just turns on when the light comes on?
On when the light's on. Yeah. It's better just to keep it going, then you're not relying on temperature sensors or anything like that, and it just helps keep that heat sink as cool as possible. Fans are ultra quiet. The only place that our fans aren't quiet is in the meanwhile. See the white boxes up there in the corner? That's what's powering the light.
Right.
Meanwhile, driver does not have very quiet fans, unfortunately, and those are temperature controlled by the driver.
Okay, so there's also a fan on that.
Yes.
Control this.
Yeah, that's power supply.
Now, are these compatible with Apex to be controlled?
No, they're not Apex controlled. Everything is built into the light. The circuit board inside controls all the programming for it. And then the lights, the nice thing about them is they're designed so that they don't have to talk to each other, so we don't have a master and slave. Everything's built in. It's got a battery backup. The battery backup only stores the time. Everything else is stored on a flash ROM so that when the power comes back on, it reads the time, it boots up, it knows where it should be because of the time, and it does what it's supposed to do. You don't have to reset them, they just work.
And then also I read that it has a calendar.
Yes, we're continuing to work on that. The calendar options are in the program right now. However, they're not all functional, but that's coming. We're continuing to develop the application all the time.
And is there also like they call it a regional program where a certain area in the world, that's what the time is?
Yeah. We don't have that. We do have cloud functions, but it's more just kind of playing around with it. But we don't do lightning or storm or anything, and then the regional settings or moonlight settings we don't do yet either. However, again, it's part of why we're implementing the calendar stuff, so that we can continue to push towards more and more programmability. That we focus on the spectrum first and what we're giving your corals versus the other stuff, and then just dumping every LED we can in there. So it's more about results and reliability, and then we just continue to work on that other stuff a little bit at a time.
And also, how do they test that as far as what the coral means? You know, with the difference in the spectrum
we
implemented into this?
We actually work with a lot of industry professionals, and we get a lot of our information through them. We get a lot of feedback that way. The majority of them are not hobbyists. The majority of them are in the farming industry or in research. And Ophir, the owner of the company, works with them pretty closely on a lot of different things. And then we implement the technology that we glean from them and that we find.
So it was the picture was built, it was actually tested.
Yes.
For it to actually grow, especially SPS.
Yes. Yeah. SPS. Ophir is an SPS hound. Okay. If it doesn't grow SPS or cause SPS to color up better, he is not going to mess with it because that's what he loves. And it's also the holy grail. So if we design a fixture that's going to grow SPS, it's going to grow everything else.
Right.
So that's where we focus on. And that's really about the spectrum. Have you got a few minutes to look at the spectrum with me? I can show you some stuff. Okay. So there's our white LED. Okay. What you notice is there's a big peak, and if we go here, we can click the top of that peak,
Right.
and it'll tell us, it's a little easier with a mouse, 452 nanometers. Okay, so it's a 450. You can see it's a little bit to the right. But what's important to look at is the ratio of blue to the rest of the spectrum. Look, there's very little up in the red, and it's just a real nice smooth wave. But over here, look where that color is. Okay, that's a white LED, but it's trending towards the blue spectrum. Okay, the Radeon, their whites are up in the yellow-green corner. That's a huge difference for corals.
Right.
I mean, that really is where a lot of our success with SBS comes from. So, Joe, give me channel 2. Okay. With channel 2, there's several different blues. Blues are pretty simple when you do the regular, the 450, the 460, the 420, all those are the same. But that's where, the similarity in our fixture ends.
Right.
Where we really start to change is when you get into channel 3. Okay, thank you. So there's a lot of different looking LEDs in there. We're going to start right here.
Is that the same white that came on earlier also?
Nope. This one's different. Okay. So look at what color that LED is. And it didn't quite test right. I didn't let it sit long enough. It has to sit to kind of get in and read. I'll retest it here in a second. But look where that huge peak is, right down at 420. But that's not a blue LED.
No.
But it's got a huge blue peak. There you go.
So that's why you get a lot of the blues going into the tank, but you don't get a lot of the blue color when you actually videotape the tank.
Yep. So that's one of them. Now watch this one. Okay. You see how purple that is looking?
Right.
Right here? Right on my hand? Yep. So down below 420. So it's got a lot of the violet in it. Can you pull up channel 4? Thank you. And you gotta let it settle down and read before it'll register. There we go. Okay. So again, we're back. This is the similar chip to the one we had on the other spectrum. So you've got a real high peak in the 420, and then right in the middle with the still got the white. Now this one is back in the center. So just because what you see doesn't necessarily mean that's what you're getting. And that's where a lot of that difference comes in. This is one of the pink ones there. It's got a weird pink. So wide spectrum red with a big peak at 450.
Now all your spectrum that actually the coral uses, which one would that be?
Channel 4 is designed to feed chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. And it's designed in a 3-to-1 ratio. The healthiest corals have a ratio of 3-to-1 chlorophyll A to chlorophyll B. So if we feed, you can look, and the research is out there, what chlorophyll A needs for spectrum versus chlorophyll B. And if we feed in that ratio, we naturally start to set ourselves up for more success.
Right.
So that's kind of what that channel is designed to do. You can kind of play around with the other channels, and then this one is just used to put that food in the tank. So you would never use this channel on its own.
Okay, so the channel 4, Would you set that at 100%?
No. What I would do on a tank is I would use the first 3 channels to get the look that you want, and then turn up channel 4 and just watch your corals to see how they're doing. And the higher you can get them acclimated to it, the more they're going to be producing and feeding at chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B, which means color.
So channel 1, 2, and 3 are more for the look of the tank.
Well, no. Everything that we do is for the corals. However, it allows you to balance your look with those 3 channels and then really put that power in channel 4.
So it's pretty much just the blending of the different colors and the different channels. You can still achieve 2 feet of corals with it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We do tanks 48 inches deep with this one.
How full is the bar?
I've got a client with a 600 gallon in Indianapolis that has 6 units over an 8x4 by 36 inch deep tank, 36 inch high, and he has 6 Atlantiks, and there are 2 rows of 3, and he's got over 240 on the sand bed. The lights, there's 36 inches of water, and the lights are probably another 16 to 18 inches above the water surface.
Now, if I run this on a 48 by 30, would it be enough to actually feed the corals? Or
48 by 30 by how high?
20.
20? Absolutely, 1 unit. Yep.
And all spread out to the 30 with no problem. Pretty cool.
You got to remember, because do you have rock at the back?
Well, I'm redoing everything, so I'll probably just have pretty much just a little bit in the middle.
Okay. Can you view it from both sides?
Just the front and the 2 sides.
Okay, 2 ends. Okay. Yeah. Got 1 unit. Let me turn this up. It's pretty much, we just deal with each situation, depends on what it is. If it's an LED, I can ship you an LED. If it's a driver, I don't mark up parts. I can send you a driver, everything inside the light is modular, so you can change it out yourself. Not a problem, we get you taken care of. If it's something that requires service to us, you just ship it. We fix it for free, you pay for the parts and return shipping, and that's it. After the warranty period.
For the, you said it could be upgradable also. And also what LEDs do you guys use for these?
We don't actually list the brand of LEDs because what we do, it's almost like a recipe. Everybody lists Cree or Bridgelux or Philips or whatever brand they use. But it's because what they're doing is out-of-the-box LEDs. We're not doing out-of-the-box LEDs. There's not LEDs. If everybody could do what we're doing, then we wouldn't be different than anybody else. And the reason we're different is because of our spectrum. So we don't really share that information. It's like a secret recipe.
Right. And it's very noticeable the way the lights are.
Yep.
And I've used LED ever since. And I could tell the difference.
Yep.
From the Vegas to the Hydras, Radions. There's actually a big difference as far as the quality of the light coming down.
Yep.
It's almost the same as having a T5.
Yep.
It's just you don't get the heat. So.
Yep. And you actually get a lot more intensity.
Right.
Yeah. The par meter, we've got a par meter, and the par meter down at the bottom reads pretty high. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, I've seen the video. It's pretty cool. Now, also as far as the controllability of it, you said it'll be Wi-Fi, and then you can use any of the Android devices.
Yep, most of them are compatible.
It's all, the app is actually on the Play Store.
It is not on the Play Store right now. Right now, you can download it through our website. You just go to orphek.com, and you go to the Atlantik 2.1 website or page. Down at the bottom is the link to the Android software, and you can download it there. We'll always keep that updated first, and we're working on Play Store application.
Now, I see also you guys have the DC pumps.
Yes.
You guys going to be coming out with the pumps for the tank to where all of these will be control?
We always have a few different things in the works, and definitely wireless control and controllability of all systems in the tank is something that we're looking into. We're always interested in making your life easier, but we're also interested in continuing to further the hobby.
Thank you very much, sir.
No
It was good to meet you.
Yeah, you too.